Shame. 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 Shame.
Peace and Black Power, family. This is What's going on, people? Welcome to another edition of Shame TV East Watch. Let me get some light in here. Another edition of Shame TV East Watch. Your host, you know who the host is. Sometimes called Shame. Your host, Derek Jones here. We have a Sunday sundown stream, the first of many to come. This will be a routine, people. So set your clocks, set your reminders, set whatever the hell you gotta set. This will be routine. Today's discussion, as you can see the topic up there, we're talking about Nature Boy. Has he been arrested yet? Peace, Dogman X. Welcome. Has he been arrested yet? We don't know. We're going to start off with that, though. Racism at today's Jets-Patriots game. Peace, peace. Welcome in. Can I get some likes when y'all come in, if y'all don't mind? And, yeah, we got a little racism at today's Jets-Patriots game. And lastly, are the Moors bound to Europeans by oath? Now, for that one, it's going to be probably the longest part of the discussion, which is, are the Moors bound to Europeans by oath? Is that why they always speak well of them? Even the one that I like, one of my Moors that I respect immensely, Taj Tariq Bey, he even says that sometimes, that there isn't racism or they are not being racist, that they're just following blah, blah, blah. But we're going to address all of that shit today. But first, before we do, we need to start off with number one on the topic, and that is your boy. That's right, the Nature Boy, and I don't mean Ric Flair. Apparently down in his little compound in Costa Rica, he has been gathered up, him and his tribe or group or whatever you call those people that follow Nature Boy. Apparently they've been snatched up. The photo and the video that I got, they're all packed in like sardines on this little bus in Costa Rica. And apparently the Costa Rican government has had enough of the reflections.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
And they apparently had enough of the reflections. And are pretty much trying to get them out of their country. So we'll go into the video and let Nature Boy explain himself. Oh, and just so you know, there will be periodic shame bells ringing off when he says shameful shit.
I'm gonna let y'all know the whole scoop this way. Reflection, listen to me very clearly. Time. We are right now in the immigration van in Costa Rica, Limon, Costa Rica. You feel what I'm saying? The whole melanation is in here. You feel me? Everybody here, I want to name everybody right now. You heard? La Vie, Pocahontas, she in here. You feel me? Got Fury in here. Key is in the building. Fucking Golden Boy, Canada. Omek, EJ, El Nino, Nefertiti is in the building. We in the immigration van right now. We're not getting out of this van right now. I need you to share this video with everybody. You understand? We was pulled over. They took the van because the van was in Phoenix's name. They took the van fine. but they're trying to take us. We're not going for it. We came here to live as human beings, free of the corporations that they set out called countries. We don't want to hear, you feel me? We're not going for none of that. We stand in this van right here, and I want y'all to know right now that at the end of the day, this is what it's all about. We got to make some change right now. We shouldn't have to motherfucking have to go. We're human beings. We belong in the sun. I belong in the tropics. I'm a tropical human being. You cannot stop me from being on the earth. What you're basically telling me is you're breaking me from my human rights is to be in tune with nature. And I belong to the earth. I don't belong to a corporation. I don't belong to Costa Rica. I don't know what you're talking about when you talk about America. I don't know what you're talking about when you talk about none of that. I belong to the earth. We are human beings. You know what I'm saying? And let it be known. Share this video. Make it go viral right now, because this is about to go crazy right now. Because we're not getting off this bus. We're not getting off this bus, Reflection.
Now, apparently, Nature Boy and his reflections were rolling around Costa Rica and got pulled over by the Costa Rican guard, police, or whatever term you want to call them, or that they go by. And you heard Nature Boy say, which he will reiterate, that they are not getting off the bus. We would love to see how this ends.
We're not getting off. They're going to have to go crazy, and it's going to be all over the news. So I want y'all to make it go viral right now to let you know, bro, I did this for humanity. I wanted us to live pure. I wanted us to live free. No matter what the difference is, you might not like Nature Boy, but I stood for us being free, having free water, access to free food, all our birthrights as humans. We need to stand up for this right now. This moment right now. I'm not getting off this bus, Reflection. They got police all around us, all around the bus. They try to grab me. You feel me? I'm not getting off this bus. I'm gonna tell you right now, man. We are humans. We are not some fucking robots that they can use in their corporations to give us a fucking number. Stop playing the fucking number game and stand up for your human rights. You feel me? We are not. We don't have to play this human. What they call farming. We're playing human farming. This is what this is about right now. Us being human. This is why I left America. A black man in America cannot have any kind of rights to do anything and be free. We're owned by the bank. And I don't want to be owned by the bank. I came out here to get away from people. They steal our food. We went to go get our food. And at the end of the day, what happened?
Shame. Shame.
They get the
shame.
Now, I don't think he came out there, excuse me, just to be free. I think a lot of the reason that Nature Boy is out there are solely based. One of the main reasons that he's out there, in my opinion, is it's rooted in narcissism. When he gets people out there, he tries to sleep with their women, tries to make it cool to sleep with their women. We got multiple videos of people saying how Nature Boy has scammed them out of money and is always attempting to scam them out of money. But we'll let him continue with his historical stance.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
The van. Okay, that's their van. That van belongs to them. Us, we belong to God. We belong to the universe. Yo, we're not a number. We're not a motherfucking identification. I'm not that social security number.
Okay, we got to stop again.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
He said that the van belongs to them, but he, in his reflections, belong to God. Now, how come God couldn't do something as simple as get these niggas a van of their own?
Shame. Shame. Shame.
A human being. And what this is called right here is human trafficking. Human trafficking. And we need to make this shit go viral. Right now, I'm not getting out this fucking van. I will die for this. I'm letting y'all know I'm going to die tonight for this.
Now, today is October 15th.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
I think this video was just shot. So has anyone heard about Nature Boy dying? Has anyone heard yet about Nature Boy dying or being deceased or being killed by the Costa Rican government or anything of the sort? Because one thing I know for sure, if you're in Costa Rica and they're calling it their land, you're in a van that you openly admit is their van. Okay? You're in a van that is openly admitted that is not your van, it belongs to them. Okay? And then you're saying that you're not getting out of that van, that you're going to die tonight. You're going to die before you get out of that van. Now, there's one thing I know for sure. These motherfuckers who participate in law enforcement are going to get you niggas out of that fucking van. Excuse me. They're going to get you reflections out of that van.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
I don't know what is the result of Dark Man X, but I know for sure it's the result of a lot of fuckery and a lot of scam and fuckery gone wrong. But we'll continue. We'll let Nature Boy continue with his tirade for a little bit longer.
For this shit right here. And if anybody is not with me, I don't care. I'm not getting off this bus. I'm not. For human rights, real humans. You are not a social security number. You are a human being. Breathing water. You are 70% water. You belong to the earth. And all we're trying to do here is live in harmony with the earth. Why are they bothering us? They have captured us. They have kidnapped us. And we will not have it. I'm telling you right now, we will not have it. I'm not standing for it. Y'all make it go viral. Y'all make it go viral. Y'all make sure the motherfucking every country get this. We got France here. France. My friend right here, he's from France. He's not having it. My friend right here, he's from Canada. Canada is in the building. Y'all shout out to Canada in the building. Everybody and everybody else is from the United States. We got Mexico in the building. Mexico is not having what Trump is doing. We're not having it.
He just said he got people from the United States. Then he just said he doesn't know what that even means. He doesn't know what America means. Don't even talk to him about America because he doesn't know what that means, yet he knows what it means.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
And I'm sure that later in the video, he will start asking you for donations. He's going to start asking you for help, him and his reflections, because reflections are the most powerful people on earth right now. Reflections have everything that they need. They are equipped with everything from the universal creator. They're equipped with everything. Of course, except money.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
So he doesn't need your help with anything else. He just needs your help with money pretty much to help get him and his reflections out of this situation.
Mexico, we have every nationality in here right now. We're not having it. Search and tag the Costa Rican news media. Search and tag the social media for Lamone. We're in Lamone right now. Tag Lamone in this right now. Everybody do this right now. We here. We are human. We are your reflections. We actually out here trying to make a difference. We're trying to be able to live free. We want to drink pure water. They said it's pure Vita here. We home. I don't want to hear nothing about no passport. I'm tired of them bullying us with their guns. I'm tired of this. We supposed to be.
Nature Boy, for the record, you and I are not reflections. You can continue.
free. They keep taking our food and putting money in front of our food. We supposed to be able to eat free. The trees do not charge us anything to eat food. I'm not having it. We out here. No, I don't care what nobody else is talking about right now. We are really out here. And I want to say to everybody right now, I love my self-reflection. This is what I left for. This is what I...
Okay, let me stop for a second.
Shame.
Okay.
Shame. Shame.
He says this is what he's out here for. He says he's out here because he's out here to make a difference today. He's out here ready to die, aka boots on the ground.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
There's only one question that I have for Nature Boy, which is the reason why I did this. Nature Boy, would you be saying all of this powerful freedom speech shit if you had not got stopped in that fucking van? Would you be saying any of this shit if they just let you stroll on along and live your little Dr. Malachi York cult life?
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Because you are a Nuwapian, and we know that you're a Nuwapian. It's known now that you're a Nuwapian. It's no longer a secret. Okay, it's no longer a secret. It's out in the open. You are a Nuwapian. Just because you say reflection and just use that Nuwapian term, reflection, which is a Nuwapian term, does not mean that you're doing anything different than Malachi Z. York did. The same as him. He got people on his compound and then did what? Tried to fuck their women.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
The same thing that Nature Boy is doing, getting people to come all the way to Costa Rica to his compound. And not only does he get them to come down there, but leave their children wherever the fuck they decide to just up and leave their children, because he doesn't want children there. Leaving the children wherever these women just leave them at, and come down and join his compound. And when you come down and join his compound, if you're a man and you bring your woman, best believe Nature Boy is trying to strike.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
But here, he's all powerful, revolutionary Nature Boy. He is the evolution of the revolution right now.
I want you to share this video to everybody right now, worldwide. Everybody, share it on YouTube as quick as you can, because they might murk us. Because at the end of the day, America don't care about black people. America does not care about us. And they already banging on the door. The dude try to come up and grab me. They know the only reason why I'm still alive is because these dudes is in the van right now. Because Canada and France is in the van right now. They don't care about Mexico.
Shame.
But if we was only
Shame.
back in this van right now, I'm telling you, we'd be dead. They would fuck us up right now. The only reason that we are still here and able to speak is because of these skin colors right here.
So these scrawny white boys that he's referring to as his reflections, I guess, the only reason they're still alive is because the Costa Rican police or Costa Rican Guard, for some reason, are afraid of these two random white men.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Okay, Nature Boy.
Love myself. Because Canada and France is in this, and is with melanation. Mexican, black, does not get any rights anywhere. We in Limon, Costa Rica right now. They took us to Limon at immigration. They do not give a damn about our lives.
Listen, Nature Boy, let me help you out here. Whether they give a fuck about your life is not even the question. What they're saying is, nigga, what the fuck is you doing here? And who the fuck are you? Now, am I missing something or am I missing something?
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Because if they were concerned about the white people and not wanting to mess with the 2 or 3 white people reflections that you have with you, why the fuck did they put you in the van in the first place? Not only that, Why the fuck did they put their asses in the fucking van if they're so scared of them?
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Okay, they will murk us, and it doesn't mean anything to America. The American embassy wouldn't even care if they killed us. And we have to stand up for this. I need everybody to share this video right now because it's about to go down. It's about to go viral right now. Tired of people talking. I'm tired of people talking. It's time for us to make a change. And if I'm going to die, I'm going to die for something. I'm going to die for something, man.
Shame.
Riding a van in Costa Rica hardly seems, let me say this, riding a van in Costa Rica hardly smacks in the face of a revolutionary martyr death. Now, maybe again, it's just me. But when I think of a martyr, someone who sacrificed their life for the cause, you being able to ride around in a Costa Rican van in a Costa Rican city without even identifying yourself to the Costa Rican government, which I don't respect, but at the same time, they are the Costa Rican government and they do control who comes in and comes out of their country. You didn't even give them enough respect to let them know that you were there and what you were trying to do.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Now that you're caught up, they have you in handcuffs. They have your whole crew packed in that little bus like sardines. And now you have the audacity to demand that we share your video so that it goes viral, so that we can look at you as some sort of revolutionary, whatever the fuck you want to be looked at. Shame TV, East Watch, that's enough of Nature Boy.
Shame. Shame.
Please watch out for the YouTube scammers. Please watch out for the people who are always got boots on the ground, always got everything they need from some universal power. But this universal power never gives them the smallest thing that they, most essential things that they need for their undertaking to progress and survive. Is money. Now, why don't you just go get your ass off the van, tell them that you're Nature Boy of Melanation. I don't know if he has any grand epithet titles.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
But tell them who you are. Tell them that you're about your divine mission from the universe. Like you say to everyone else, your divine mission from the universe and all of this shit. Why don't you tell them that and get your ass out of that situation?
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Exactly. You're going to keep running your fucking mouth and get all those simple-minded, following-ass people locked up in a goddamn Costa Rican jail, which I'm sure, without a shadow of a doubt, I'm sure that in a moment's notice, you will turn them motherfuckers over for your own freedom and safety.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Now, I heard earlier in the chat, I didn't get to see the comments that were put in by the racist European or purporting to be a European YouTube page person that Tasha so eloquently dismissed from the chat. But he probably caught the title. And the second part of the title today is racism at today's Jets-Patriots game. Now, why do I say racism at today's Jets-Patriots game? Okay? What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go to my Facebook. I'm going to go to my Facebook. I'm going to go to my notifications. And here I will begin to read about today's racism. Racism at today's Jets Patriots game. Now, for all of you who are in the know, I just left Boston last week because I was at my sister's wedding. Well, my sister and her now husband, who was her fiance at the time, have a year ritual that they do together since they've pretty much been together. They go to the Patriots game in New York every time they play the Jets. They drive up from Boston and go to the games. So 4 hours ago, while she was at the game, my little sister posted this. This is Trump's America. And this is quotes. This is Trump's America, you American bastards. Jets fan behind us screams out. Me and my hubby have a tradition of going to MetLife Stadium every year to see the Patriots play the Jets. Every time we come, we leave feeling disgusted. I know the ignorant ones don't speak for all Jets fans, but I believe it's time to start a new tradition. Now, her and her husband were sitting at the game, and all of it she didn't put in the post. But while she was at the Jets game, today's Jets-Patriots game, Europeans, aka white people, as they're so called in America, found the need to see two black people sitting together in the crowd and began heckling them with racial slurs, with what's going to happen with what's going to happen with in Trump's America, letting them know that Trump's America basically is allowing them to rudely disrespect them at a football game. Now, you're supposed to be watching the fucking game. You pay a ticket to come to the stadium and watch a game. Everyone in there came to that stadium, paid tickets, and to watch a game. If I paid tickets to sit down and watch a football game that I traveled 3 states away from to come see, why am I being heckled? Why am I being insulted in this manner? She didn't come in there with her husband and say, all you fuckers need to get the fuck out of my land, because my sister is my sister, which makes my great-grandmother and my great-great-grandfather her great-grandmother, great-great-grandfather, which means my little sister, like me, descended directly from the Cherokee Nation, or what is called the Cherokee Nation. So she can easily say, what the fuck are you doing in my country? This is our country. No, she didn't say that. She sat down because my sister loves football. She has since I started playing. My little sister came to every game that I ever fucking played. And I agree with a lot of you guys with that fuck the NFL sentiment, because I didn't watch any football today. I made it my business not to watch any football today. I specifically made it my duty to not watch any football today. But I cannot make my personal conviction someone else's personal convictions. The point of it all is, why do these people feel the need to be nasty, disgusting animals at all costs and at every fucking turn.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
At every turn, black people have to endure or have to deal with this shit. You have so much love for the flag, but yet half of them can't even tell you where it comes from, where it derives from. You got so much love for the troops, but you drive around homeless veterans every single fucking day, every single fucking week, every single year, and you do nothing. So someone comes to a bullshit ass football game to sit down and enjoy themselves at a fucking football game. My sister sitting down enjoying herself at a football game. Why? Because she works hard, her husband works hard, and they can fucking afford the tickets. They can afford to travel out of town. And she just came back from her honeymoon 2 days ago. She had a wonderful week, got married, went on vacation on a honeymoon for a week, came home, went apple picking with her children. The next day, get up, drive out of town to go enjoy herself some more, and this is what she has to deal with.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
And before I move on from this point, I want you all to know and realize one thing, one important factor to all of this shit. Okay, I want you to realize that no Europeans in the stand got up and told these other Europeans, stop with your wicked ways.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
They run around and talk shit about how much they love the police, cake for the police whenever the police kill a black person. Well, I find it mighty funny that you love the police so much because my sister's husband is a is a Cambridge, Massachusetts police officer. So look how you treat the police.
Shame.
That you love.
Shame. Shame.
That you cake for. That you love, that you cake for, all of that shit. So that's the end of that. I wasn't going to spend too much time on that. Yes, it's the same old, same old. It's the same old, Tasha. It's all the same bullshit. They always give lip service to anything that will allow them to continue to spew lies, because that's all racism is. Racism is nothing but lies. It's the hiding of culture vulturing. It's the hiding of your own deficiency. And instead of worrying about screaming Trump's America and nigger and all of that at a Patriots Jets game, you should be fucking worried about why you're dying off, and there's nothing to stop that.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
You should be worried about how come you can't, a little gray mouse can go outside in the sun all day long and just charge up and nothing happens to it, and you go out there and you're catching cancer and dying.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
And you also should worry about why the whole world feels the same way about you that I do.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Ignorant motherfuckers. I grew up a Dallas Cowboy fan to my heart. I love the Cowboys. I've watched the Cowboys from the time I watched football up until this past week or last week. When Jerry Jones came out and gave an ultimatum that he later tried to retract to the players in a private meeting, but you didn't say what you said in a private meeting. You came out and you said that shit. Anyway, Jerry Jones comes out and says that anybody who kneels is not going to play.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Well, Jerry Jones, you just lost a fan. As a matter of fact, you lost more than a fan. You lost about 4 fans because everyone in my house is a Cowboy fan. But I will be goddamned, and I mean goddamned, if I allow my integrity as a man, my integrity as a melanated indigenous brother, to ever be weighed against watching some motherfucking football.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
And I want to send a shout out, or excuse me, a call to action out to the Jets. What are you going to do, Jets? MetLife Stadium. Is this what MetLife Stadium is all about? Is MetLife Stadium about allowing people to travel to their stadium to enjoy themselves and then being called nigger and this is our America because Trump says so and blah, 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 to people who just came to just enjoy themselves? And you wonder why guys are kneeling? You wonder why people are boycotting the NFL? You wonder why people are on stay woke movements and things of that nature? This is why. This is the shit that we deal with on a routine basis that no one else deals with like we do, and no one should have to deal with.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
So before I get too emotional and upset, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to switch gears on our final topic of the stream today.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
But before I do, I want to say, fuck the Jets, fuck the Patriots, fuck the NFL, and fuck everybody who loves the NFL. Peace.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Now, we covered Nature Boy and his arrest and his tirade and his viral hoping tirade. He's so pathetic. Reflection. Then we go to racism at today's Jets-Patriots game, where a bunch of Trump reflections.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Showed their funky, pale, dog-smelling asses. Now it's time to move on to the final topic, which will take up probably the bulk of the stream. Peace, 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 Brooklyn. We were just talking about a little racism at today's Jets-Patriots game that my sister and her husband, newlyweds, mind you, fresh off their honeymoon, had to endure today. Racist taunts, being called niggers and nigger, this is Trump's America, and this, that, and the third. How much they love and respect the police. All the while, my sister's husband is a Cambridge, Mass police officer, so therefore you don't give a fuck about the police because he's a Cambridge, Mass, he's a police officer, and you're shitting on him, calling him a nigger right in front of his wife and embarrassing him and his wife while they sit there trying to enjoy a fucking game.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Then we had a discussion on Nature Boy and his animated, emotional attempts to get you guys in the world to be behind him while he goes into another country unannounced, moving around and gets stopped. And now this nigga's on his way back to wherever the fuck Nature Boy is really from. Virginia, Kansas, Florida, wherever the fuck you from. Costa Rica has pretty much had enough of the reflections and is sending their asses back to wherever the fuck they're from.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Now it's time to move on. And I want the chat to be on fire for this right now. I want the chat involved in this right now. We are going to have the final part of the discussion today. And it is, are the Moors bound to Europeans by oath? Question mark. Okay. Yes, Nature Boy, and I don't mean Ric Flair.
Shame. Shame.
Woo!
Shame.
I'm going to play that one more time for the people who just came in. Because Nature Boy said he was ready to die today. Y'all heard him.
A black man in America cannot have any kind of rights to do anything and be free.
Woo!
Owned by the bank.
Woo!
And I don't want to be owned by the bank. I came out here to get away from people.
Woo!
They steal our food. We went to go get our food. And at the end of the day, what happens? Boom.
Woo!
They get the van. Okay, that's their van. That van belongs to them. Us, we belong to God. We belong to the universe.
Woo!
Shame. Shame.
That nigga said we came out here to get the van, but okay, the van belonged to them. Bitch, you was stealing.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Yo, we're not a number. We're not a motherfucking identification. I'm not a social security number. I'm a human being. And what this is called right here is human trafficking.
Woo!
Human trafficking. And we need to make this shit go viral. Right now, I'm not getting out this fucking van. I will die for this. I'm letting y'all know I'm going to die tonight.
Woo!
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Yo, this nigga's a fucking clown. This nigga said he gonna die tonight. Right now, we are on the lookout for reports of Nature Boy's death. Because there's one thing that I do know for sure. Nigga, you getting off that motherfucking van.
Shame.
One way or another.
Shame.
One way or another, they gonna get your ass off of that van. Now, I don't know how they're gonna do it. All I'm saying is they're gonna get your ass off that van. So we're waiting for Nature Boy to die.
Let's be realistic for a minute. Am I cooking, huh? Let me take a look at this, huh? Is this what's happening for professional wrestling, huh? Very cocky, a lot of charisma. The most well-known, the best-looking, the best-dressed, custom-made clothes, gold around my neck, Rolex watch around my wrist. My shoes cost more than your house. Drive a Lincoln Continental, a Mercedes, a Rolls, or a Corvette. Live in the biggest house on the biggest side of town. Jet airplanes, and I can limousine sitting out there a mile long with 25 women just died for me to go. Woo!
Shame. Shame.
Yo, to be the best, Nature Boy, you gotta beat the best. And right now, Costa Rica is kicking your fucking ass.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Oh man, when it all comes down, I'm telling you, Nature Boy is about to all fall down.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Yo, next thing you know, Nature Boy gonna be doing videos live from his grandmother's basement.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Just like Digital Pit Boss. Now, it's time to move on to our last topic of the day. Are the Moors bound to Europeans by oath? Now, why do I ask that question, people? Oh, got a little wire in my face here. Why do I ask that question, everybody? Why am I asking the question, are the Moors bound by oath to Europeans? Now, if you're not familiar with the Moors and the Moors customs, and I ain't talking about what you call a Moor today. I'm talking about Moors back in the day who were rolling around on horses with swords and fire sticks, called guns, and fire sticks and things of that nature. Those people had a code. And one of the codes of the Moors was, apparently, if you saved their life, that their life belonged to you until you can return that favor. So basically, if I saved a Moor's life, that Moor would be basically bound to serve me and to assist me in all my endeavors. Listen at the way I'm setting this up now. I want y'all to pay attention. Okay. If I saved a Moor's life, he would be bound by oath to protect me in all my endeavors. He would be bound by oath to serve me until the moment comes in which he or she could return the favor and save my life. And then in doing so, they would be removed from the bond and free. Now, we already know that the Moors, or black people who called themselves Moors or were called Moors, greatly assisted the Europeans in bringing them into the modern civilized world. Okay? If it wasn't for the Moors, to this very day, Europeans would still be bottom feeders dwelling around in mud like pigs. Now, I only say that on the pretense that they did not already die off if it wasn't for the Moors. If it wasn't for the Moors, I think that there'd be no Europeans in America. There'd be no Europeans on the planet. They'd probably be a small group of people like the Pygmies or some shit. Like, they wouldn't even be enough to call themselves a nation for real. Not saying that that's what I want. I'm not advocating violence. The only thing that we advocate here is
shame, shame, shame.
So we don't advocate violence here. We advocate awareness and then ostracizing those who deserve it. Now, continuing on. If the Moors are bound by oath to defend and or assist anyone who saves their life until the moment comes that the favor can be returned, and then they'll be free to move on about their business and go on about their business. We need to now examine the relationship between that oath of the Moors that apparently they took very seriously. This was not just something that was just said. Apparently, this is something that the Moors lived by. This was something that they did. This was routine. This was a way of life for them. So, can we use our imaginations just for a little bit? Nothing I'm saying is factual other than what I just said about the Moors. But can we use our imaginations for a second? Let's try that for a second. Let's say there were a group of Moors. Let's say they were traveling through Europe for whatever the reason. Say they docked their ship and they went off on the land and they were hunting. Say the captain of the Moorish ship, his son, went with the hunting party. I'm using this as an imaginary scenario. Let's say the captain's son, the captain of one of the huge Moorish ships, his son went with a hunting party on land to hunt. Let's say a wild boar or a bear or any creature you want to name that has fangs and is able to basically disembowel your ass. was ready to attack these group of Moors, and is specifically, let's say, this Moorish captain's son. And out of nowhere comes the tail wagging, dog hair having, woo, white people or Caucasians of Europe. Let's just say they saved this young man's life, this young captain's son and his whole little crew. Let's say they saved their life. Okay? By the Moorish law and by Moorish reasoning and understanding, they would be, those Moors, that Moorish captain would be indebted to those Europeans. That Moorish hunting party would be indebted to those Europeans. I'm gonna show y'all how deep this shit is. They'd be more in the, let's say just a hunting party went. They'd be more bound by those group of Europeans than they are bound to their own captain. Because if those people save their lives, they must now stick it out with these people until they can return the favor. What if the captain of the ship is like, okay, I'm done being over here. Anchors up, let's get the fuck out of here. We're sailing somewhere else. Does the hunting party whose lives were saved by the Europeans, do they get to go too? Or must they stay with these Europeans? Must they stay with these Europeans? Must they reside in Europe or wherever they were with these groups of Europeans who saved their lives? Because by Moorish oath, by Moorish law, apparently, if your life was saved by anyone, you are bound to that someone until you can return the favor. So, if those Moors had to stay with these groups of Europeans, imagine the difference in the European society. Let's say if those Moors stayed with them for 15 years until they could return the favor. Do you know the huge leaps and advancements in European civilization that will be reached by having those Moors there? We can use, now we could drop the hypothetical. We could start using actual factuals. If it wasn't for the Moors coming into Europe, Europe would have never had paved roads. If it wasn't for the Moors coming into Europe, Europe would have never had street lights. They would have never had functioning governments. They would have never had hospitals. They damn sure wouldn't have had schools. And that's for sure, because it's a known fact that Europeans were ignorant as fuck and illiterate as fuck. And that illiteracy carried all the way across the pond to America. All the way across the pond. And if you look in the amazing, 100 amazing facts about the Negro, it clearly tells you, even in the 1900s, that the Europeans' illiteracy rate was the highest amongst all groups of people. That means the nigger slaves had a higher literacy population than the people who were forcefully keeping them from being literate.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
But I want to know, are the Moors bound to the Europeans by oath? Is there somewhere in history? Is there something that we're missing historically? Is there something that went on in history, something that we're missing in history that happened where certain groups of Moors were bound to help certain groups of Europeans? Because I don't see any other reason for these people to be attached the way they are. Now, earlier in the video, I made a statement about Taj Tariq Bey, who is, first off, one of my favorite scholars. He is one of my favorite people to just listen to talk, because you can tell that the man has acquired information through his life. And I love talking to people who've acquired information because they can share it. But Taj Tariq Bey said this once. He said that black people, or said that Moors, because he doesn't use the term black, he said that we run around talking about racism and all they're racist to me and all their prejudice and all their prejudice and they're racist. And Taj Tariq Bey said, that isn't it. He said that isn't the situation. He says the reason why they're doing it is because our paperwork isn't in order. Or our, not necessarily paperwork, but declaration ain't in order. So he says that our declaration wasn't in order. He says that our if we get our status corrected and put in order, then these things would stop basically immediately.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Now I respect Taj Bey. I'm going to always respect him and I'm going to always listen to his work. None of that's going to fucking change. But on that particular instance, he's going to have the good looks, bro. Good looks. He's going to have to get drugged on that one, y'all.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
He's going to have to get drugged a little bit on that one. Because I don't give a fuck what kind of paperwork you got. I don't give a fuck what kind of ID you got. I don't give a fuck what kind of diplomatic status you got. When they see your black ass, that is what they see. Your black ass.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
So when you make statements like that, dog, appreciate it, G. When you make statements like that and you say things like, the reason the Europeans are doing this, it isn't racism and prejudice. Yes, it is. The average fucking European does not know, dog, about no motherfucking Moorish science. The average European has no idea of what the fuck we're talking about. So to sit there and say they're not doing this because they're narcissistic, evil, fucking corrupt, nasty, degenerate bastards. No, they're not doing it for that reason. They're doing it because your status?
Shame.
Really?
Shame. Shame.
See, when people say things like that, that identify themselves as Moors, when you do that shit, I think that, oh my gosh, that's what makes me ask the question, guys, that I'm asking today on the stream. Are the Moors bound to Europeans by oath? Is there something going on that Moors are bound to Europeans by oath? Because I heard this more than one time from a Moor. It's one of those things that, when I said before that a lot of Moors would make them different than other groups of people, to me, which is why I respect them, is that they generally say the same thing. They don't flip-flop around on a bunch of different shit. They don't say that you could do this and do that, but you can't do that. But they all say the same fucking thing. And that is something that I've heard. Even my boy, what's his name? Asir the Duke of Tears, who I really love and respect his work, man. And just his mind. I really love and respect that dude's mind. But keeping it 100% real, even he has said these things before, people. I've heard this shit too much. You are not going to convince me that 7 out of 10 Europeans that are bigots. So we're not even putting in white people who are decent fucking souls and decent humans, mankinds, and try to be, you know, and try to exhibit a soul, try to show that they have the capability of having a soul. Now, I ain't talking about them. I'm talking about the 10 people are all racist, bigot, lime, whatever the fuck you want to call them. Okay? You mean to tell me that they know that we are Moors and indigenous, because you know when they say that, they use Moor as synonym with the word indigenous. They call themselves white, and I respect that because that's status. Now that one, I ain't gonna, what's up, Chemo? I ain't gonna, BC, I ain't gonna drag them on that one. Because that is true. That is status. That has nothing to do with necessarily what somebody look like as far as skin tone, because their skin complexion is not white. So to call them white would be crazy. The motherfuckers are pink. So so there's no sense in that. Okay, hold on a second, guys. Got a quick little call. But anyway, their skin is pink. So if their skin is pink, why are you calling them white? If their skin is pink, why the fuck are you calling them white? If my skin is copper toned, why are you calling me black? Because I haven't met too many black people that are actually fucking black. I haven't. I'm sorry. I just haven't.
Shame.
So why do these brothers insist on giving these people a pass with all the vile and fucked up shit that they've done? Earlier in the live stream, for all you guys who were here, I read to you straight from my Facebook, my sister who put out today, she was at the Jets Patriots game, and how her and her husband were insulted, being called nigger, nigger, this is Trump's America, all this shit, while they were just sitting there trying to watch a game. Okay? They were just sitting there trying to watch a football game that they traveled all the way from Massachusetts to come see, paid their tickets like everybody else, paid for parking like everybody else, go up in there, sit down to try to enjoy themselves. And this is what happens to them. Are you meaning to tell me, Moors, that those same Europeans would have not done that if my sister's status was correct?
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Is that what you're trying to tell me? Because that makes absolutely no sense. And if you expect me to believe you on that, I'm going to have to respectfully decline your attempts to make me believe you on that shit. There's no fucking way in hell that the racism that took place today at the Jets-Patriots game only took place because someone's status wasn't correct. Okay? There's no such thing. So, I ask again. Are the Moors bound to Europeans by oath? Is there some secret clandestine agreement between the Moors or people who identify themselves as Moors and Europeans? Because I'm not going to say the Moors cape for Europeans. I'm not going to say that shit. But you damn sure keep giving them the benefit of the doubt when they, first off, not even ask for the benefit of the doubt. That makes it worse when you're giving somebody the benefit of the doubt and they ain't even asking for it.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
And they always seem to have this notion that racism does not exist in America. That the only thing that's going on is our own fault. Okay? I'm going to go to the chat and we're going to, and I told y'all I want y'all engaged. Brooklyn says maybe they just have a connection because Moors were their teachers. Also, Moors created a lot of the children with them. But yes, they did. Okay, we're gonna stop here and we're gonna go over that. Brooklyn says maybe, I'm gonna read it again. Maybe they just have a connection because Moors were their teachers. Also, Moors created a lot of children with these Europeans. Where did the children go? Interesting question. Could that be the reason? Could that really be part of the reason why these Moors seem to always give European racism the benefit of the doubt? Why it always seems to minimize European racism? And we all know as grown people that systemic racism and European-based systemic racism is alive and well in this country. So no one's even entertaining the fucking thoughts or any idea that European racism is not alive and well. But the only groups of people who seem to feel that it is not alive and well, that it is really our faults for not coming under a Moorish flag, are the Moors. Let's dive deeper into that. When we see pictures, we talked about this last night on Tasha Pope's chat. Latasha Pope, please go subscribe if you haven't already. We talked last night on her chat last night about the Moors, about being indigenous. And me and BC, Black Conscious Fraud Committee, we had got into the discussion, okay? We got into a discussion about the Moors and pictures, old pictures that everyone's seen before from, let's say, George Washington time and all of that shit. Every time you see old pictures of Europeans, you always see what in the picture? You see a black man or a black woman. Generally, 90% of the times, you see a black man. There is always a black man, whether out front, off to the side, behind a tree, looking behind the tree. All the time, there's always a face, there's always a black face in these proud European photos. So for instance, you'll see George Washington standing there in all his glory with his uniform on, and he's and the sun setting behind him, and he's gazing off to the right or to the left, looking proud, holding the reins of his horse. And right all beside him, what do you see? A black man. And every time you see this black man, is he in beaten or tattered clothes? Is that Tawana Allen? What's up? But is he in beaten or tattered clothes? No, he isn't. No, he isn't. He looks great. He actually is dressed colorfully, just the same way niggas dress today. So what the fuck is he doing there? Does that have something to do with the Moors and their inability to be critical of Europeans when it comes to systemic racism?
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Because if you let these Moors tell it, these Moors will tell you that you are whatever you suffer from and through or by systemic racism from these people is your fault. Well, how do they mean? Why do they say that? They say because you are part of their government. Remove yourself from their government. Remove yourself from their jurisdiction. Remove yourself from their status. Remove yourself, remove yourself, remove yourself.
Shame.
Woo!
Shame. Shame.
Well, I'm here to say I have yet to see a video done by the Moors where they're going to court and winning cases. I've yet to see a video from the Moors where a cop where they got a summons and didn't go to court. Because if I've removed myself, okay, we'll say it again in sports terms. Well, no, we're going to do it in the military. If I'm no longer in the military and I do not choose to re-enlist, which means I'm choosing to remove myself from the military life, how then can the military demand anything of me? They cannot. If I want to play baseball for the Boston Red Sox, I have to adhere to the jurisdiction rules and laws or bylaws of the Boston Red Sox organization. If I quit that team and remove myself from the Boston Red Sox, can the Boston Red Sox then in turn demand that I stop wearing a particular sneaker because they don't like it? Can the Boston Red Sox demand that I come to see the general manager on Wednesday at 10 a.m.? Do I have to show up? Would you show up?
Shame. Shame. Shame.
So I'm going to have to keep it real with my Moorish brothers. You're a walking contradiction of yourself. You're a walking oxymoron right now. That's how you're being looked at by the people. And I'm telling you why you're being looked at as a walking contradiction. Because you're telling me that the systemic racism that we suffer through every fucking day is really not the fault of the people who are perpetuating it. It's our fault because we have yet to remove ourselves from it. Like I could just wake up tomorrow morning and say, I'm removed from the government, and like they're going to say, oh man, you're removed. So I guess everything that applied to you before doesn't apply now because you're now removed.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
How come them niggas that I was in jail with who all lost their cases? Yes, Tasha, victim blaming once again. It's your fault that these people are using in systemic racism to hold you and your people back. It's your fault because you letting them do it because you didn't claim to be a Moor. And once you claim to be a Moor, magically all this shit is not going to happen anymore.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
But it gets me thinking. It really gets me thinking. There's something going on with Europeans and Moors. Now, Brooklyn brought up a good point about how the Moors really were immersed in Europe, in the European culture, basically changing European culture and bringing them out of what they were in and giving them something that could be actually defined as a culture. The Moors are responsible for that. The Moors are 100% responsible for that. I don't know, Brooklyn, a lot of these so-called Jews are the children of the Moors as well, because there's no such thing as a Jew. That's a religion. And so, excuse me. And so those people are Khazarians. They're from a little small kingdom of very rugged and aggressive fighters who were Europeans who are a part of this kingdom called the Khazaria. So there really ain't no such thing as a Jew per se, because those are just Khazarians. They're just fucking Germans. They're white people. They're Europeans. So I find it hard to just dismiss and ignore or let go the fact that you people, or my brothers and sisters, let me not say that, who call themselves Moor or Moorish, have yet to really address this situation. You've yet to address why you would say such a thing. Now, I'm not into the victim shit. I'm not into the, oh, they doing this to us and let's just do this, do that. And Tawana, I don't think Dark Man X is Javen. I think we got to the bottom of that. I don't think it's Javen. It's just Dark Man X.
Shame.
You fucking crazy, yo. But anyway, no Moors touch this subject. No Moors. I'm fucking with you, girl. No Moors, Tawana, or anybody in this chat. No Moors. Have you guys ever heard any Moors touching this subject? Have you heard any Moors explaining why they cape so hard for Europeans whenever a black person, African American, whatever the fuck term we want to go by, whenever we bring up the fact that Moors always have a siding opinion with Europeans? We never hear them dismiss it. When you bring up racism, they'll look at you. I've heard Moors say, though, oh, that's for children. That racism, black colorism, all that's for children. Dog, these people hold positions that hold sway over our lives, and they're using it against us, nigga. And I ain't no kid, and neither are they. They're not children. These judges and these fucking cops and these lawyers, they're not children, and they're using this shit against us. So I don't want to hear no shit about those are children's game, because if you just wore a fez, then what? I'd get locked up the same way you getting locked up?
Shame. Shame. Shame.
They're not coming through, because the topic, the way I put that topic, and I worded that to Tasha, I did that shit on fucking purpose. Are the Moors bound to Europeans by oath? Because I think some of them know something. That's why they always say shit like, that's why they always have that upper echelon Moor, and then the lower echelon Moor, and then you got to go through the rites of passage.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
You got to go through the rites of passage to gain the knowledge from the grand elder of the fucking temple, or the that person of the fucking temple, or the this, that. You always got to do, basically what I'm saying is they're admitting that there's information that people know and they're not sharing with everyone else. Why? Because you want me indoctrinated enough that when you show me the information, now this is just an opinion, but you want me indoctrinated enough that when you show me the information, I'm going to still agree with the Moorish side, because the information may be screaming for me to not agree with it.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
For somebody who's out here for fallen humanity, they say they came, their number one mantra, if you talk to any Moor, their number one mantra is what? I am here, my job is to fix fallen humanity. If you've never heard them say it, just go watch a couple videos with Moors, and they'll fucking say that shit all the time. I'm here to fix fallen humanity. Now, humanity has fallen. What does that mean? For somebody to say humanity has fallen, that means what? That means chaos is running amok on the land. That means something is going on that needs to be corrected. Well, what's going on that needs to be corrected? One of the things that's going on that's leading this land to be fucked up and displaced, and everyone displaced and angry at each other, and all sort of chaos and all sort of nefarious fuck shit always ruling the day, comes directly from Europeans and systemic racism. Institutional.
Shame. Shame.
Wouldn't that be something that you come to fix, Moors? How can you come fix the problem of institutional racism? How can you come to fix the problem of just overall dominating hate by Europeans against us for no other reason than to just do it? For no other reason than it's Sunday or Wednesday. How could you come fix that without first identifying and then agreeing that it is a problem? Or are you saying systemic racism is not a part of the fall of humanity?
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Could you possibly be saying that shit? Because if that's the case, I'm not going to lose my respect for Moors, Tariq Bey, Arcia, the Duke of Tears, and my main man Root, wherever he's at right now. But I need answers to these questions, man. And like I said earlier, Brooklyn brought up a wonderful point about the breeding, the having sex with European girls and producing those mulatto children, basically, which are black, producing children with these people. And then the son, or let's say a Moor has sex with a European woman, produces a son. Let's just say this Moor is a fucking, again, let's say he's the captain of one of his own Moorish ships. If that's his son, he's going to bring him on the ship. He's going to teach him how to sail. He's going to teach him command. The money that they make, he's going to share it with his son. When they go to land, his son is going to have money to build himself a home. After his son builds himself a home, are you mean to tell me that his son is not going to go get his white mother and bring her up there and let her live in there? You mean to tell me he's not going to bring his white grandfather, who's elderly, if he's still alive? That's crazy. That's how things get the way they are. Infiltration, some sort of boundness, some sort of oath that it seems like. I'm not sure whether it is one or not. That's why I'm using the terminology, it seems as though Moors have some secret clandestine oath that they're bound to Europeans with. We have a comment in the section, in the chat. I think it says Barzella 187 says, I think you are way off terms. Excuse me, way off in terms of the Moorish Science Temple. I am a 20-year member, and many of the terms that you use, we do not use, in the understanding that you have is skewed. Well, okay, I respect that. I respect your opinion, Barzilla. But one of the things that I pride myself on is not having an askewed understanding. Meaning, I sit back and I examine all facets of something. And when I examine all facets, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I've been around Moors going on 13 years now. You said 20, I'm saying 13 years. Okay? I have a Moorish title. No different than anyone else. I did a public, in 2006, I did a public joint on YouTube declaring my nationality and blah, 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 blah. That was 11 years ago. So there's no skewed understanding that I have about the Moors. I can repeat verbatim everything that the Moors say. And to be more specific, like I always say, is what you said, is that the answer to the question that I asked, are the Moors bound to Europeans by oath? What you said, is that the answer to the question of why Moors always say that talking about racism and colorism and all that is child's play, that's for children, basically acting as though the Europeans who are exacting this treatment out on us are only doing so because we're not wearing a fez. Like, that doesn't make sense. I need somebody to answer the question. Why do Moors always seem to give Europeans passes when it comes to racism?
Shame.
Why do they always try to make racism seem as though it's something that does not exist? And the only other group of people who do that are coons and white people themselves.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
I've never met anyone else that was not a coon or a willfully ignorant white person. Never, 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 ever heard anybody but those two groups of people say that racism doesn't exist, or try to get people to think that racism no longer exists or doesn't exist, or none of that's real. Because if I go by the Moorish standard, I have to say that it isn't real, and that the white people today at the Jets-Patriots game who were calling my sister and her husband niggers and Trump's America nigger and all this stuff like that at the Jets game today, this afternoon, in New York, they only did that because Erica didn't have a fez on. My baby sister didn't have a fez on, so that's why they did it. You mean to tell me if Mike Brown had on his fez, nothing would have happened to him? If Eric Gardner had his fez on, he wouldn't have got choked out by the police because he was a black dude. For all the black people who are currently, when I say currently, I mean right this very fucking second, at this current dispensation in time, being assaulted by a police, a racist ass race soldier, none of that wouldn't happen if he wore his fez. Seriously? I got another situation for you. For all these fez people. I've never owned a fez. Never wore a fez. I don't think that it will save me. I don't think that the wearing of a fez will save anyone. I don't think that you claiming, declaring, or saying anything about your nationality will do anything to deter these people. These people believe in their hearts the things that they say and do. And I think it's completely, what's the word I'm looking for? Reckless. I think it's completely reckless for any black person to run around and say that the reason this is happening to you is because you haven't declared yourself a Moor. You haven't joined a temple. You haven't sent out a declaration of such and such and such and such and such. That's why we're doing it. If these people really believe the shit that the Moors say about this particular instance, they would have been had notices put out. They would have been sent out notices, sign this and return it to your local, state, city council, whoever, so that the police can know that you are a Moor and they should not do anything to you. When does that happen? And another thing that I wanted to say to the Moors. In 2006, okay, the FBI put out a report in 2006. This is 2017. So that means 11 years ago. Okay, that's over a decade ago. The FBI put out a report and said that Ku Klux Klan and other neo-Nazi white supremacist groups have successfully infiltrated the police departments in America. Now, what does that statement mean? It means 11 years ago, the FBI said that they've already achieved their goal. They achieved their goal 11 years ago. So if they achieved their goal 11 years ago, that means what? It was all in the process.
Shame. Shame.
That means in 2000, they were still in the process of doing this. In 94, they were still in the process of taking over. So if this is the case, Moors, how then can you come and fucking say to me, how could you say to anybody that systemic racism and talking about racism and all that is a distraction and it's just a game and it's child's play? Apparently, these fucking neo-Nazi and racist Ku Klux Klan groups, they don't think it's child's play because they've successfully done it over a decade ago.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
So this leads me to ask one more time. Are the Moors bound to Europeans by oath? I should have put in the title clandestine oath, some sort of secret oath that we're not sure of. Because when you start saying the things that you say in the manner that you say them, when you start ignoring or trying to dismiss something that is a known fact in this country. It is a known fact even amongst Europeans who say, when once polled, I'd rather be poor and white than rich and black because of systemic racism, no other reason.
Shame. Shame.
No other reason.
Shame.
They know it. I know it. Everyone knows it. Everyone's aware of this shit except the Moors. And I don't mean all Moors, but I mean most of them. Everyone's aware of this shit except people who call themselves Moors, who seem to feel that something that 85% of the fucking United States or so-called United States is aware of is just child's play. The FBI already came out and reported over a decade ago that these child's play ass neo-Nazis and racists have successfully joined the police departments, which was their goal. If they have successfully joined the police departments or taken over police departments, it was their goal to do so. And they were not being urged to do so that they could mess with all the non-Moors.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
You're not going to get me to accept that one now. That's why I wish my man Root was here, because he does his best to give it up genuinely and factually. And I would have loved to hear his opinion on this, because he doesn't cut a lot of Moors and he's slack either. But I'm getting to the point now where it's like, I don't challenge the Moors on their information, because it's true. We are not slaves. It's true. We are not all brought over here from some slave ship. We are indigenous to this land. All of that shit. None of that. That's not wrong. The Moors say that the United States is a federal corporation, not a country. That is true. A lot of things that they say are 100. But just because you say some things that are 100, I'm not going to overlook the bullshit that you that you spew out your fucking mouth. And the bullshit that you spew out your mouth is not much as far as I'm concerned. The only things that I have a complete disagreement on the Moors with is that status correction paperwork shit, because you don't provide evidence of success stories. I keep telling y'all, when you're saying something and you're doing something and you're selling something, you need to provide success stories. That's why I made it my business once I started selling t-shirts, that the first few people who bought shirts from me, I did what? I made a success story video. I showed how they gave their credit card number, they got a confirmation that they indeed just used their credit card, and they got sent their product. Those are called success stories. Now, how come you Moors, brothers and sisters, cannot provide any success stories? That's one of my biggest things with you when it comes to this court shit. Because you always have a reason. You always got an excuse or a reason of why someone lost in court. Whenever someone goes to court, it's always something they didn't do right. It's always, oh, you were supposed to file it with the county clerk, not the district clerk. Oh, you were supposed, like, oh, it's always something, never just a fucking success story. And if all of the things that you saying are true and accurate, and that these white people know that we're the Moors, and they're just ready to willingly give us back our shit once we step up to our birthright and all of that shit, all of that stuff that you say, then how come they make it so hard for you not to do that?
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Okay, Barzilla 187. I'm not the person you should say that to. Because there's tons of Moors running around here saying status correction and making it synonymous with paperwork. I did not create this. I did not create this phenomenon. I did not start this phenomenon of paperwork. The reason why there's even such a term right now called paper terrorists comes directly from people who identify as Moors using status correction paperwork. And that's what I mean when I say factions. Now we have a Moor who I respect, and I'm not going to dismiss what you're saying, Barzilla. I am not, I don't know if you're a brother or a sister, but I am not going to dismiss what you just said. If you have been a Moor and claiming to be a Moor for 20 years, then I'm going to listen to what you say. I'm just telling you that there are far more Moors out here other than yourself who are not saying what you just said. They're out here saying things basically contrary to that. They're saying for you to be able to even be classified as a Moor, you got to fill out paperwork. And if I'm filling out this paperwork, I'm doing this and I'm filling out paperwork for what reason? To get my status corrected. Anytime you need a Moor, what's the first two things they say to you? Peace, Mo. Second, what's your nationality? If you tell them anything other than, yeah, I'm already a Moor, yeah, I'm already blah, 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 the first thing they're going to start doing is talking about status correction. They're going to start saying you have to file certain paperwork. So I don't think that I'm misguided in anything that I'm saying. I'm just repeating what the fuck has been said. Sorry. Now, I send this out to any Moors. I send this out to any anybody who has any sort of group that I must join. Any group that, and that can include this African American shit. That could include this black shit. Because we only call ourselves black as a common, it's like a common acceptance right now as an identifier, but we all know that we're not black. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because we talked about this yesterday. You'll have some people coming up here saying I'm not a black man, but say nigga. But get mad, excuse me, but get mad at you when you say nigga and call themselves black. You can sit, like, let's say a person like Roland Martin. You could go right now and say nigga in front of Roland Martin, and I guarantee you, if he's in front of people, oh, I ain't no nigga. Now, wait a minute, I ain't no nigga. I am a black man. Bitch, it's the same fucking thing.
Shame.
What the fuck? So you take the same notion towards the Moors. Every time we talk about racism and systemic racism, there's a fucking Moor coming around saying that that's child's play, that there is now, the only reason you're going through that is because you haven't corrected your this, and you haven't done that, and you haven't done this. I am not alone in being the one who's heard these things. If you have heard any of the things that I've said before, can I please get a 1 in the chat? Oh, I saw you. Come here. So this is not something that I'm making up. I'm not making something up about Moors. Why would I do that? And I have a Moorish title. Why would I do that? Why would I hate on Moors? What the fuck? Why would I need to do that shit? But what I'm saying is you cannot call yourself a Moor. You cannot come here and tell me your mission is to fix fallen humanity. And then try to act like one of the issues with fallen humanity is a systemic fucking racism. Baby, could you go get me a bottle of water?
Shame.
Thank you.
Shame.
What the hell? Why would you say that systemic racism is a joke when the FBI came out and told you, basically, you better watch out, motherfucker, because neo-Nazis and white supremacists and all these racist groups have already successfully infiltrated the police departments. 11 years ago, they successfully infiltrated the police departments. But the Moors will come out and fucking tell you, when you talk about racism as being a problem and something that's stopping us from moving forward, and no, it's not. You're engaging in child's play. Here, put this back, baby. You're engaging in child's play, and if you had your status corrected, these people wouldn't be doing these things. They're doing it because you're under their jurisdiction. Well, Moors are getting killed. Every time I turn around, there's a Moor getting locked up, and he's not coming right out. Because if that shit was valid, you wouldn't even be getting taken to those cages.
Shame.
How are you making it to the cage? You should not be making it to their cage. You should not be making it to booking. Because you are not under their jurisdiction. So if you who are not under their jurisdiction, what the fuck? This is sad. I don't have a problem with Masons because I know tons of them. I know tons of them, and they're some of the most peaceful, open-handed people in the world. Because if you really look at it, these people in these sororities and shit, which supposedly derive from Masons, but they're not Masons. Just because you are a Gamma, don't make you a third-degree Master Mason. It may be similar, but they don't make you that. And they do far more damage to the black community than anybody. The college-educated black person does far more damage to the black community than any fucking other person in our community. I don't know. I've never met a Mason who wasn't a real nigga. I've met some corny ones. I've met some not so educated ones. Like people think that oh, he's a Mason, that means man, these niggas is regular niggas, dog. They regular dudes, G. They just go to this fucking meeting, and half of them don't even know what the meeting's about. They don't know who Hiram Abiff is and all of that shit. They don't know that stuff. They don't know who Caesar Bajor is and how the fake images of Christ and all. They don't even know that shit. So I don't do that blanket shit. That's why I don't blanket the Moors. Woo! Y'all want to hear some more Nature Boy? Y'all keep fucking with me and Nature Boy. Nature Boy is about to die, everybody. He said so himself.
A human being. And what this is called right here is human trafficking. Human trafficking. And we need to make this shit go viral. Right now, I'm not getting out this fucking van. I will die for this. I'm letting y'all know I'm going to die tonight for this.
Woo!
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Well, Tawana, it's not that they had bad experience identified as black. It's just that shit is it's not us. You know what I'm saying? We're not black. So it's like, but I feel you when somebody else come in and starts trying to tell you what you are the same way other people have been trying to tell you what you are, and they're not providing facts or evidence that this is the case. And we had this discussion. Yeah, Tawana, you wasn't on last night on Tasha's chat. We had this discussion last night. We had this discussion last night about the term Moor and why must I say that? Why must I use that term Moor? Because if I don't say that term Moor, then I'm not being genuine to my ancestry and to my history and my lineage, yet they cannot show me anywhere in history where the people that they call Moors chose that name and made sure they were identified by that name. Close your door, Cookie. Because I hear that song and I don't feel like hearing y'all music. I don't want to hear Cardi B. And that's what my daughter's in there listening to, which is trash to a degree. But I don't say that because I like underdogs, and Cardi B is an underdog. She's just a fucking real person who is struggling, is doing whatever she can do to try to make it. She ain't out telling bitches to sell their soul, so I ain't mad at her. Until she starts saying that, then I'll be mad. You want to tell my sisters out here to sell their fucking soul and do whatever for that paper and that cash, then I got a problem with you. But anyway, we'll move on. But yeah, that fucking term, that term is what I don't like. That term Moor. Like if you don't say Moor, then you're just not indigenous. Yet, when we looked on the United Nations Indigenous Protection Act of 2012, there's no listing for a Moor as a nation. There's no listing as Moor as indigenous. Yes, how can you unify around a word? Wonderful question. Wonderful question. How can you unify around a word? And then, you know what, Truck Turner? You know what I want to know? How can I unify around that word when you won't even give me the etymon of that word? I'll give you another example. Again, I said that I am a descendant of a man named King Isaac Seymour. I am a direct descendant of this person. Okay? King Isaac Seymour was a Cherokee Indian. He is my great-great-grandfather. All right? He is a Cherokee Indian, and I descend directly from him. Directly from him. He ain't never tell me nothing about Moor. He's never told me that for me to say Cherokee and indigenous are synonyms, that's accurate. That is accurate. But the term Moor is nowhere to be found. Why is that? Why must I identify with something that is so, let's say, neither here nor there? That does not make sense to me. That's something that I can't identify with. And it is time for me to get ready to make dinner for my children. Well, it's already pretty much done. I just got to start serving. This has been wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I want you guys to get used to this. This is my first program, and it's called the Sunday Sundown Stream, where every Sunday at sundown, when I was generally watching NFL football, it will now turn into a Sunday Sundown Stream. Since I am boycotting football, this is what I'll do with my Sunday afternoons. So to recap what we went through today, Nature Boy stole somebody's van in Costa Rica. He admitted that it was theirs. And when they packed him and his friends, excuse me. Sorry, let me get this Shane Bell back up because that was my fault.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
When they packed him and his reflections into a van to take these niggas back to wherever the fuck they came from, Nature Boy got on an emotional rant and says that he's going to die tonight because he wants to stay in Costa Rica using their vans and their equipment and whatever without their permission.
A human being. And what this is called right here is human trafficking. Human trafficking. And we need to make this shit go viral. Right now, I'm not getting out this fucking van. I will die for this. I'm letting y'all know I'm going to die tonight.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Secondly, excuse me. Woo!
Shame. Shame. Shame.
The Nature Boy, live in Costa Rica. Tight, skinny van driving. Real name and identity hiding. Woo! Son of a gun. I'm going to die tonight in this van that ain't mine, that I was riding around in, that they try to take back. Woo!
Shame. Shame. Shame.
We on our way to immigration, people. And when the Nature Boy gets on that immigration plane, he's going to be immigration jet Lear flying.
Shame.
This motherfucker.
Shame. Shame.
This nigga said, help this shit go viral. You don't take your black ass somewhere, man, and kick rocks. All right, on a serious note, the second topic today was racism today at MetLife Stadium at today's Jets-Patriots game, where my sister and her husband, newlywed husband, had to endure nigger call, and this is Trump's America nigger chants all around them while they were simply trying to enjoy themselves at a game. Something they do every year.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
And lastly, most of you who are here for this, are the Moors bound to the Europeans by oath? I don't know. I'm not sure. But it damn sure sometimes appears to be the case. One of the reasons that we gave, or that was given by Brooklyn, that maybe when the Moors were having sex with all these white girls and creating children with them, they developed some sort of bond with the European. Or the oath that the Moors are bound by, that if their lives are saved, they must stay with whoever saved them until they can return the favor, serving them and assisting them in all their endeavors. And maybe there was a Moor or two somewhere who was in danger and saved by a European, and therefore was bound to the Europeans and started helping them and assisting them in building up their civilization, which eventually they used to try to rule over other black people, and the Europeans flipped it on them, and now we have a big mess. I'm not sure. Shame TV East Watch. This has been effing fun. I've enjoyed myself. This is our first ever show. And I pretty much want to continue this every Sunday. Like I said, we're going to just call it this. This will be our show. You know what I mean? We'll just call this our show. This is the Sunday Sundown stream to replace the NFL, because we're pretty much done with that shit. So Shame TV East Watch, like, comment, share, subscribe. For all of you new to the program and have subscribed, thank you. Give me a couple likes on your way out if you didn't like coming in, and I'm going to holler at you.